Today's class is going to be focused on the inner thighs and the core. So by strengthening the inner thighs, we strengthen the pelvic floor, which is part of the deep core. And for this class, you'll need a mini Pilates ball. I want you to make sure that your ball is a little bit flat so that if you put it down, it won't roll anywhere. And we're going to get started in a 4-point kneeling position. So I want you to make sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. And then you're going to take the ball in your left hand. So I want you to make sure that you can press nicely into that ball. And then just press into that ball. We're going to lift and extend the right leg. So drawing in that core, belly button to spine, press into that ball. Lower the leg, release the ball. Exhale, press and lift. So you're really finding that deep abdominal connection. Exhale, lift and press. Very good. Let's go for another 4, really pressing into that ball. Feel the core draw in, that transverse abdominis, drawing in like a corset. Let's go for another 3. Last 2, press into the ball. You can feel the shoulders activate, the arms activate. Okay, on our next one, we're going to hold our leg up, press into that ball. We're going to come into a push-up. So lower the chest down to the mat, draw in the elbows, exhale, press back up. Inhale, lower, exhale, press. So really bring the elbows in towards the waist and then press back up. Let's do one more, really feeling the heat in the arms. The more you shift forward, the more weight into your arms, and then we're going to lower that leg back down. So I want you to make sure that you are bringing your knees together now. We're going to tuck those toes underneath, and then we're going to come into our knee hover. So pressing into that ball, drawing the core in before we lift up, hovering the knees off the mat. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press into that ball and lift. Inhale, lower, back down. So you're really keeping a flat back here, drawing that belly button to spine. I really want you to focus on lifting through the core. Let's do another one. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Very good. Just release the wrist there. Taking a few moments just to release. And then we're going to take the ball in our right hand and do that all over again. So bring your knees about hip distance apart, knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Okay, so we're going to press into that ball and extend the left leg. Inhale, lower, release the ball. Exhale, lift and press. Draw the core in, belly button to spine, activating the right arm, getting into the left glute. Exhale, lift. I want you to make sure that this is a slow and controlled movement. So you're not bringing that leg up and arching the back. You're rather focusing on drawing the ribs down towards the hips as you lift that leg. Focus on that control and you'll feel it more in your core and your glutes. Exhale, lift and hold. Inhale, lower the chest, bring the elbows in towards the waist. Exhale, press back up. Let's go for another 3. Draw the core in, that transverse abdominis. Exhale, press. So you're keeping the spine straight here in a neutral position, holding that leg up. The glute is working in an isometric hold. Bring the elbows in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, press back up. Let's do one more. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press back up. Lower that leg back down. Bring the knees together. Tuck the toes underneath. And we're going to press into that ball, hovering the knees off the mat on our exhale. Draw that core in. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Draw the transverse abdominis in like a corset. and then lower back down. So there's a slight lift of the pelvic floor as well. And we're going to activate the inner thighs more shortly. Lower back down. Release that wrist. And then take the ball between your knees now. So you're going to squeeze the ball, tuck the toes under. We're going to come into a few more knee hovers. So tucking the toes under, squeeze the ball between the thighs, pressing the floor away, neutral spine. Exhale, hover the knees, draw in the belly button towards the spine, and lower back down. So just a little lift, squeezing the ball as you come up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, hover. Make sure that your gaze is down towards your mat. Make sure that there's no coning, so you'll do that by drawing in the transverse abdominis. Lift and squeeze, getting into those inner thighs, into the pelvic floor. Exhale, lift, squeeze. Inner thighs draw together, lower back down. Let's do another 2. Lift and squeeze. Inhale, lower. Last one, lift, squeeze, hold for a second, lower back down, release, press up to a kneeling position. Shake up the wrists. Keep the ball between your knees. I'm just going to turn to face you so you can see what I'm doing. What we're going to do now is I want you to squeeze the ball with your inner thighs and then release. So exhale, you're squeezing and then you're releasing. So like you're bringing the mat together, activating those inner thighs. I'm going to turn this way again. So exhale, press. And I want you to bring your hips forward a little. And then inhale, release, exhale, press, bring the hips forward. Make sure you're finding length through your spine. Lifting through the pelvic floor, just a gentle lift. Nothing too extreme. Drawing the transverse abdominis in as you squeeze that ball. Let's go for another 2. And release. Last one. Hold it here. And then we're going to lean back. So you really squeezing that ball. Inhale. Start to lean back. So you're just hinging back. I want you to make sure that there's no coning. So don't lean back too far that you lose that control. And then you're going to exhale, lift. Inhale, release the ball. Exhale, press it in. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, release. Let's do another 5. Exhale, press, bring the hips forward. Lean back. You can bring your arms out in front. Exhale, shift forward. Inhale, release. Very good. Let's do another 4. Really getting into those inner thighs, drawing that transverse abdominis in as you lean back and then release. Last 3. Exhale, squeeze the inner thighs. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, release the ball. Last 2. Squeeze the ball, lean back, draw the core in. You're keeping up in a straight line. Keep the length in the spine and release. Last one. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And then inhale, release. Very good. Okay, come down into a seated position on the mat. I want you to make sure that your knees are bent. You're taking the ball in between the knees now. And then you're lifting up through the spine. So grab onto the back of your thighs. Find the length in the spine. We're coming into our half roll back. You're going to exhale, tuck the pelvis under, rolling into your half back position. Now, this half back position is different for everyone. Some people feel more comfortable lower, some feel more comfortable higher. But find what feels good for you. Make sure that there's no coning in the abdomen. And then squeeze that ball. So we're going to just stay here for a hot minute. And I want you to slightly tuck the pelvis under a bit more. So you're not moving the ribs or the chest, you're just tucking the pelvis under. Very good. Finding that nice lumbar flexion of the spine. Exhale. Find that deeper connection. Holding onto the back of the thighs, press into the thighs, squeeze the ball. Hold here. Can you tuck a little bit further without coning? Very good. Inhale, lift up, release. And then you're going to exhale, press back, squeeze the ball, lift up one hand to the ceiling, bringing the transverse abdominis in, lower it down, exhale, lift, inhale, lower. Really make sure that you're squeezing the inner thighs. Very good. Let's go for another 4 to each side. Squeeze the ball. Make sure there's no coning. If you need to come up a bit more, if that helps you, you can do that. Make sure you're tucking the pelvis under, lifting back up, rolling back up, find length through the spine. And then exhale, roll back down into your half roll back position. And we're going to circle the arms. So you're going to lift it up, circle it out to the side, drawing the core in. It's working harder now as you take that arm up overhead, switching arms. Inhale, exhale. Very good. And on the other side, so we're just switching sides, alternating sides. Squeeze that ball in because you often forget, but squeeze it so you're working the inner thighs and the pelvic floor. Okay, last one on this side, and then we're going to change the direction. So you're going to bring it out to the side, up and around. Tuck the pelvis under. Very good. Last 4, circle it out, around and back down. If you need to come up a bit higher, you can. Hip flexors are working hard. Last one each side. Okay, out to the side and down. Tuck the pelvis under a bit further. Draw the transverse abdominis in. And then lifting back up. Whew. Okay. So you're going to come down now onto your back. Take the ball in between your knees and bring the heels in towards the glutes. You know what's next. We're going to be doing some bridges. So you're going to exhale, lift up into your bridge. Squeeze that ball as you're lifting. Inhale, lower and release. So exhale, lift and squeeze, making sure that you're not overextending in the spine. You're actually keeping that rib to hip connection so that we're not straining the lower back at all. Keeping a neutral spine, flat back, so we're not rolling through the spine in this one. Exhale, lift, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the inner thighs. Inhale, lower back down. You're doing so well. This is a nice, slow and controlled class. Squeeze the ball, lower back down. Next one, come up, hold here. Squeeze the ball, lower the right hip down, halfway to the mat. Exhale, lift it back up so that the hips are square. And then we go to the left side. Exhale, lift, squeeze. Inhale, lower the right hip. Exhale, lift and squeeze. So we're getting into some nice hip mobility here as well. Good for the pelvis. Let's go for another 2. Last one each side. Lowering it down, lift it up. Now I want you to do some pulses, squeezing the ball. Exhale as you squeeze, inhale, release. Draw the transverse abdominis in. Keep the hips up even as you squeeze the ball. Inner thighs are on fire. Squeeze the ball tight. Last 2. Last one. Lower down. Bring the knees in towards the chest, taking a release for a second. And then I want you to take the ball underneath the hips. So The ball is in a comfortable position here. I want you to make sure that you're not flexing the spine or arching the spine. It's coming just under the pelvis, and then you can rest your hands down. We're going to come into a bit of abdominal work, some core work, more core work, and then you're going to exhale, lift the right leg to tabletop, inhale, lower. Exhale, lift the left leg to tabletop, inhale, lower. So during this whole series, I want you to make sure that you are keeping the hips as still as possible. Don't rock in the hips, keep them still. Draw the transverse in, so really feel like you're using that core to lift that leg. It's a small, simple movement, but if you're using your core correctly and your breath, you'll really feel it, and this ball is adding a lot of instability. On your next one, I want you to hold the right leg up, take your left arm to the ceiling. We're going to extend the right leg, lifting the left arm up overhead. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, extend. Find that core connection. So you're not arching in the back, you're keeping a neutral spine here. Exhale, bring it in. Keeping that hip stability, the hips are stable. Finding length through that leg as you extend it out, making sure the ribs are sliding down towards the hips. You're keeping that stability in the body, that core connection. Let's go for one more. Extend. Perfect. Lower the leg back down, lower the arm back down. We're going to do that on the other side. So bring the left leg to tabletop, right arm to the ceiling. Inhale, extend. Find that core connection. Find that stability. And then exhale, bend it back in. Use that breath. Drawing that corset in. Really activate the abs, the core, yeah. You'll feel it on a deeper level than you would normally. Let's go for another 2. Last one. Lower the foot back down, lower the arm back down. Okay, now we're going to come into a real balance challenge. So you're going to lift the right leg to tabletop and then lift the left leg to tabletop. Already you can feel that instability. Your hips are shaking. Okay, plant your hands down into the mat. Inhale, extend the right leg. Exhale, bend it back in. Switching sides, left leg this time. Bend it back in. Keep those hips as still as you possibly can. It's hard work. It's a lot of stabilizing work and you might fall off your ball. But if you do, just come back on and carry on going. It's good to be able to work on unstable surfaces. It really strengthens your balance, strengthens your core. Exhale, pull it back in. And then extend again, find that length and bring it back in. Last one on this side. And then pull it back in. Lower one foot down at a time. Release the ball. Extend the body long across the mat. And then roll onto your side. So I'm coming onto my right hand side. You might want to do the same. And then you're going to extend the top leg, bend the bottom leg in. Take the ball in your left hand. We're going to be putting pressure on this ball with our left hand. Okay, so I want you to make sure that you aren't sinking low here. You're pressing the top hip away, engaging that core. So really think of lifting that side waist. You're going to exhale, lift that left leg pressing into the ball. Inhale, lower. So make sure that your neck is in line with the rest of your spine. Your head is in line with the rest of the spine. Release as you lower. Exhale, lift and press. This is a lot of core work, a lot of glute work if you're doing it right. Let's go for another 4 more. Exhale, lift and press. Inhale, lower. Make sure that the bottom elbow is underneath your shoulder. Last two, exhale, lift and press. Slow and controlled. Last one. Hold it up here. You know what's coming. It is a side plank. So just release that ball for a second. Find a comfortable position. And then you're going to exhale, lift and press into that ball. Coming into your side plank. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, lift and press. So keeping that leg on the same plane the whole time as you lift the hips. Getting into those obliques. Very good. Exhale, lift, press. Inhale, lower, tap. And then lift straight back up. Squeezing the core, squeezing the glutes. Last one. Exhale, lift, hold. You bring the ball to the ceiling. Hold here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it back down. Take the ball now to the end of the mat. You're going to take your bottom leg on top. Make sure that the ball is above your ankle. Come all the way down. Rest your head on your arm. Press that top hip away so that there's a gap between your waist and the mat. And we're going to come into some more inner thigh work. So you're going to press into the mat. Exhale, lift that bottom leg. Inhale, lower. So really draw the core away from the mat. Exhale, lift using that inner thigh. Find length through that leg, and you're just tapping it on the ball and lifting it straight back up. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Last one here. Very good. And then for our next one, you're going to slide the knee in and then press it back up. Find that length. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, extend it up. Find the length through the leg. So I want you pointing the feet here. Really finding length. Remember to draw the bottom waist away from the mat. Exhale. As you bring it in. Inhale, extend the leg. Last one. Lift it back out. Take that ball now by your ankle. We're going to come into a rainbow shape. So you're going to lift it up, tap it in front. Exhale, lift it up and over, tap it behind. So really find that stability. Resting on your hip. Your hips aren't moving here. It's just that leg that's moving inside the hip joint. Core is drawing away from the mat. Exhale as you lift. Inhale to lower back down. Drawing the belly button to spine. Okay. Last two. Last one. Lower it down. Whew. And then we're going to go into the other side. Okay, so come down onto your left hand side now, onto your left forearm, extend the top leg, bend the bottom leg in, and you know what is coming now, so press that top hip away, making sure that there is a beautiful line in your upper torso, making sure that your head is in neck. Your head is in line with your neck and the rest of your spine. Okay, press into the ball with your right hand as you lift that right leg. Inhale, lower and release. Exhale. Very good. And you might notice that you won't be able to come up as high. That's because we are keeping that core connection. So you're just lifting and lowering. You're not externally rotating the leg as you lift. The knee is facing forward. It's not about height here. It's about engaging the core and engaging those glutes to work. Exhale, lift and press. Inhale, lower. Last two. Draw that transverse abdominis in. Very good. And on our next one, hold that leg up. Press into the ball. Lifting the hip up. Lower it down. Tap. Release the ball. Exhale, lift and press. Keeping that leg up, lifted. Try not to move that leg. That leg stays on the same plane. You can feel this in your obliques, in your left shoulder. Very good. Let's go for another 2. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Last one. Hold. Bring the ball to the ceiling. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Lift the hips. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it back down. Whew. Take the ball now to the end of the mat. Bring your top leg on it, above your ankle. Lower down all the way onto your mat. Bending the top leg. Push that top hip away. Lifting through the core. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Very good. We're almost done with class, so stay with me. It's been a slow and controlled class. Lots of concentration in today's class. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Last 3, 2, 1. Bend it in, sliding the ball. Exhale, press up, point the toes, finding length through that leg. Squeezing the inner thighs. Very good. Last 4. Almost done. If you need to adjust the ball, you can. Because sometimes it rolls away. Last one. Okay. Bring the ball a bit lower towards your ankle. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, coming into our rainbows, up and over the ball. Stay with me. Make sure your ball isn't rolling everywhere. Draw the core up, the side waist. Very good. Inner thighs burning. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Finishing up with the rainbows. Okay. Let's go for one more. Lower it down. Whew. Lifting up. I want you to now bring the left foot in towards you. Extend the left leg, the right leg. You're going to come into some lateral flexion and a little bit of a stretch to stretch out the inner thighs and the core. So I want you to lift up and over the right leg. Finding some nice lateral flexion in the spine. You can feel a nice opening in your inner thigh. Okay, very good. Release that. Bring the right leg in and then up and over, opening up the chest. Make sure that your gaze is slightly up. Feeling a nice stretch in the inner thigh, and the back, the side waist. And then coming up, we're going to come into a low side lunge. So I want you to lift up into a low side lunge. Really find length through that leg. So you can feel a nice inner thigh stretch here. You can bring your hands down to the mat if you need to, or you can bring them up. Also rotate that foot. So you're rotating that femur inside the hip bone. Feeling a nice stretch here. Okay. Going into the other side, use your hands to help you. And then you might find that you have more mobility on the one side than the other side. I know I have less mobility in this side, so I can't exactly get my foot heel to the floor on this side, whereas I can on the other side, but that's completely normal to have two different sides. Just rotating that foot. Feeling a nice stretch in the inner thighs. And releasing there, coming back to center. You can come to seated in the middle of your mat. And that's it for today's class, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this inner thigh core workout. It's a nice slow controlled workout, and I love using props like the mini Pilates ball. If you have enjoyed this class, please give me a like, comment down below, let me know how you found the class, what you would like to see next, and don't forget to subscribe down below. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.